What's up, y'all? It's Shaman and Shank back at you with another review. And like I said at the end of my last video, we're going to kind of turn the tide real quick because I've already pretty much reviewed all of my Emersons. I know, I love them too. But hey, it's all good. It's all gravy because like I said, this is an Emerson and Buck channel. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to go straight to Buck. And I thought, what better way than to start off with a classic, yet modernized version of an absolute legend. The knife I'm sure that everyone knows. How could you not know it? But this knife is the modernized version of the Buck 110, and that knife is the Buck 110 Sport. Look at that beautiful backwoods butte. Oh my gosh, man, oh man, listen to that. Oh, snap it out and ready to rock. We have got a weight of 4.6 ounces, very light in hand, especially when opened and even when closed. I mean, this thing rides in your pocket and you don't even feel it in there, to be honest with you. We got a blade just like the classic, 3 3/4 inch. You know, some people say it's 4 inches, but on paper it's 3 3/4. An overall length of 8.6 inches. So, you know, it's a long knife, but like I said, this ain't nothing new, guys. If you've held a Buck 110 original, you'll know the dynamics or the feel of this knife. But like I said, you definitely know you're not holding Granddaddy's Buck 110 whenever you break this bad boy out. The price tag too has jumped up. The OG, you know, brass and wood Buck 10, you can get at your local Walmart, any sporting goods store for 64 bucks. This bad boy is coming in at $149.99. And to be honest with you, that is not a bad price. And with that being said, let's talk about the upgrades we got here. We got S30V steel, an upgrade from the 420HC, which is an amazing steel. The Boss heat treat that Buck does, it's a legend. I mean, what they do with that steel to make it, you know, is hard and withstanding of the elements that they do is amazing. But that's a heck of an upgrade in this knife. Your S30V, you've got aluminum bolsters on it instead of the brass, which, I mean, of course, you know, that aluminum makes this knife so much lighter than that. I think pushing over 7 ounces with the original. And I keep pointing over here because I have the original that I'm going to break out here in a second and kind of hold them together and compare them. And of course, you know, instead of that ebony wood, you've got OD green micarta, which feels great in hand, and over time it does kind of change color, you know, if the oil is in your hand, just like micarta does. And of course, you got a pocket clip. No more sheath, or no more throwing this big monstrous tank in your pocket. You know, if your keys, you're like, oh my God, you know, juggling all over the place. No, sir. Here you go. Pop it in the pocket. No problem whatsoever. And last but not least, you've got a thumb stud for that one-handed opening. No more thumbnail openers, any of that. They didn't even put the thumbnail openers on this bad boy. They're like, you don't even need them, baby. So that is amazing. And also, I was going to leave this out. Instead of the pins that come in the original, of course, you know, you got torque screws. Isn't that amazing? You can take this bad boy apart, no problem whatsoever, with a little tiny Torx wrench. I'm not sure of the size. I have yet to take this one apart, but I mean, it definitely can be done. And of course, you know, if your blade ever gets off center, you can just go right there, tighten up that pivot, and get that bad boy straight back and right. But I have not had to do anything to this knife since I've owned it. I've got this knife about the middle of last year, and I used it a lot. When I first got it, I threw it in my pocket because I just love Buck 110s. And I was like, man, oh man, I've got to take this one around the block. And I bet I carried this one for about a good 3 months solid every single day. And man, it held up like a tank. Held up like a tank, which I mean, I expected it to, especially with that S30V, excuse me, steel upgrade. Just amazing. And guys, it is razor sharp. And like I said, I have sharpened this knife one time while having it, and to be honest with you, probably didn't even need it because this S30V holds an edge like a mofo. But I put this bad boy on my work sharp angle kit, and man, it just kicked up a burr like no problem whatsoever and knocked it off. Super smooth, super surgical sharp. That thing is, man, you could cut anything you want with this. I mean, within reason. But man, oh man, what a classic Redefined. This is definitely not your grandpa's Buck 110. This is, you know, but really, to be honest with you, I really can't see anybody who likes the design of a Buck 110 disliking this knife. I mean, if anything, it's made it more convenient. It's made it more pocket friendly, more carrier friendly, and user friendly. I mean, you got your one-handed opener. Of course, you know, you don't have, it's not a two-hand close, which I respect, and that's completely fine. This is not a tactical knife. And like I said, just because, you know, if a knife is able to be opened with one hand and closed with one hand, that I don't think that makes it per se a tactical knife. But this knife is a born and bred hunter. Ever since it came out in the 1960s, this knife, the Buck 110 was designed to be a folder hunting knife that their goal was to make it as strong as a fixed blade. Which, I mean, as you know, anybody, no folding knife is as strong as a fixed blade. But they put that lock back on it, and man, it is a daggum sturdy knife. And like I said, I've had no play in this blade. This knife is straight sturdy as crap, and I would trust this knife in so many different situations. And really, to be honest with you, when comparing these two, and as you see, I've put a thumb disc on this one as well. I put that on there before. I've had this one. I've had this buck for a minute. This one usually hangs out in my fishing bag, and doesn't get a lot of use because I usually use my clippers for like clipping line and stuff. But I always keep it in there just in case. But man, oh man, just holding these two together, like side by side. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. The weight is insanely different. And really, to be honest with you, with this coming in at 4.6 ounces, and I think this one comes in, dare I say, 7.2. I'm guessing. I think I remember seeing that figure somewhere. I mean, that's nearly not two of these, but it's getting daggum close to two of these in this. In it, you can definitely feel the difference. And like I said, I've never been a sheath carrier, but you know, I know some people live and die by that, you know, and that's completely fine. I love that. That's the way you carry your knife, and that's what you do, baby, get it in. Put that bad boy in a sheath and ride into town. But I've never been a sheath carrier with my bucks. I mean, when I was younger, I had a Buck 110 and a Buck Ranger, and I would just throw them in my pocket. You know, when you're a kid, you know, you're not carrying a wallet, keys, and all the other crap you carry in your pockets, and man, it was doable. But now, as an adult, it's just not. I can't imagine carrying a Buck 110 original in my pocket at all, and I definitely can't imagine carrying a sheath. I mean, heck, I can barely. I have a hard time keeping my phone in my pocket sometimes, so I can't imagine having this sheath on my side and having to take it out and all that. Nah, that's why you got the pocket clip, baby. And really, like I said, I really can't see anybody being displeased with this knife, even if you're not familiar with Buck or the 110 in general. If you're looking for an amazing EDC that will stay sharp for you, super light. It's not really intimidating. I mean, like I said, this is like the blueprint for like everyday carry knives. I mean, if you know anything about knives, people who don't even know anything about knives, they probably know what a Buck 110 is. And it's the most replicated knife on the face of the planet. I mean, it is the granddaddy of pocket knives, if you ask me. But like I said, I mean, it's aimed solely toward hunting, but like I said, it's an everyday user, man. I mean, I've seen 80-year-old dudes pull out their Buck 110s just to, you know, pick their nails and get all that stuff out and open the packages, which, you know, like I said, that's what it's made for, baby. It's a beautiful knife. And to be honest with you, man, the S30V, not a problem at all to sharpen. I know I see a lot of people saying, oh, it's so hard to sharpen, opposed to the 420HC. Not a problem at all. Like I said, I can pick a burr up on this thing with my Work Sharp angle kit, no problem. Strop it up, and it is razor sharp. And I've only done that once, and like I said, it really didn't even need it. I just kind of got bored and wanted to, you know, see how it turned out on it. But it's razor sharp, guys, from tip all the way to the base. You got a pretty decent spine on that. But like I said, with any clip point, you know, as I've said before, you know, you definitely want to be careful with that if you're in there, you know, get nasty with it and stuff like that. So, but the S30V is an amazing upgrade in this knife. The weight is an amazing upgrade. Pretty much everything about this knife is an upgrade. But I mean, like I said, it's man, I can't get my voice right today. It is identical in size and pretty much diameter as the original. And, you know, the blade profile is pretty much spot on with the original. But like I said, the big changes here, or definitely the biggest change for me, is the weight and the blade steel and the pocket clip and the thumb disc. I mean, it's just an absolute dream. If this knife would have came out when I was like 14 years old, I would have crapped my pants. I would have been like, oh my gosh, Grandma, please take me to Bass Pro or take me to Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that, because I would have to have it, and I'm so glad to have it in my collection. And to be honest with you, as I've said before in videos, I really enjoy breaking out these knives because I don't really use this knife nearly as much as I should, and I'm going to start throwing this bad boy in the pocket more because it is just so awesome. And I think, you know, like I said, I do carry 99% of the time I am carrying an Emerson, but this knife is definitely needs to be put back in the wheelhouse because it is a classic and for good right. It's withstood the test of time. This design, of course, you know, this is definitely newer than, of course, the OG back from the 1960s. But this knife right here, I don't see this thing going anywhere. I think Buck knocked this one out of the park, and you should definitely check it out, like I said. And, you know, when comparing prices and stuff, like, you know, all the Bucks that I reviewed, I mean, you're looking at, you know, 240 up into the 300 range, and you're getting this bad boy in at 149, practically 150, and that's a heck of a deal if you ask me. That's a heck of a deal if you want a good quality EDC, great warranty, lifetime warranty from what I believe. I mean, that's I've never had to send a butt back in, but I've seen a lot of reviews and a lot of videos. People just send like their old busted 1971 Bucks in, and they shine them babies up and get them right back to rocking. So you ain't got to worry about that. And Emerson also has a great warranty as well. They'll take care of you. But this knife is amazing. And like I said, if you're familiar with it, you haven't checked it out, please do. If not, definitely. And also, like I said, if this knife is a little bit too big for you, and of course, if you do know this knife, you definitely know the Buck 112 Ranger, which is this one's smaller brother, and I'll definitely review that one at a later time. But they've done the exact same get up on it. They've given it the modernized treatment as well. So you can get this exact same knife in the Ranger 112 as well. And I will definitely have that one as well, and I'll review it because it does deserve its own review. But if you ask me, man, like I said, you know I like my bigger EDCs, and this is just a sweet spot. It's just an absolute sweet spot. So like I said, guys, check it out. It's pretty much on the Buck website all the time. You're not going to get on there and not see it, and if you do, it's going to be for a very, very short period of time. Buck cranks out knives like hotcakes, so you know, definitely check that out. But aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it. You know, the classic yet modernized Buck 110, absolutely gorgeous, guys, absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, so functional. So functional. You know, this knife could be used for absolutely anything. I really can't think of anything that you would run into that that, you know, you would have an issue with this. And like I said, that V hollow grind, you could shave the hair on a gnat's butt. I mean, you really could, man. And that's one thing about it. Like I said, I haven't broke out this knife in a while, but, you know, I've been carrying my Emersons, you know, for so long. And, you know, this knife right here, that V hollow grind slices things like you would not believe. Like you barely even touch it, and it just cuts through it like hot butter. And like I said, you know, with the Emersons having that chisel grind, you know, and it's known. Like I said, an Emerson is not meant to be a buck. They're two different knives, and that's completely fine. But with this knife, boy, you could slice all day long, sideways, up, any way you want, and that tip is like needle point. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful knife. So guys, please check it out. If you're thinking about it, or if this knife appeals to you, please look at it at buckknives.com or buck.com. And yeah, it's amazing, guys. I highly doubt you'll regret it. I really do. I mean, this is just a crowd pleaser right here. And like I said, also, if you want the OG, it's on there too, man. Or you can go up to your local Walmart and, you know, get it in a plastic clamshell pack or anything like that. I'm sure they got it on standby as well. The Buck 110 Sport. I think this knife would make any grandpa proud, and of course you. Granted your age, you may be a grandpa, I don't know, man, but from ages legal to buy a knife all the way up to 95, there's no doubt. I don't think you'll be displeased with this knife. But that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I plan to get back on here with another buck soon. I'm not quite sure which one that'll be yet. I'll just reach in that safe and grab one and pop it out. But hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the Buck 110 Sport, y'all. And please, as always, if you heard anything I said in this video, please stay sharp.